welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma and today we have our first podcast of the year. I'm hoping it's a quick one. I'm not in a rush, but I could very much be in a rush if I take too long. So hopefully I get through this quickly. Kind of been one of the crazier months just because I had to go from post-holidays, end of break, into school starting. Now we've been in school for a few weeks again. It's all kind of just jumbled up. So I have a lot to share, but most of that I think is because I had break and I had a lot of like excess time and energy that I am starting to have less of, but we're trying to work on it. So in proper yarn buying band fashion, I do not have any acquisitions, which is more than I can say for like the first half of last year, really, where I was on a yarn ban and was like not doing that all year. I don't know. But I don't have any acquisitions, but I do want to update the D-stash numbers a little bit because I figured I would do that in the monthly podcast just for anyone who wants to follow along. So I'll link the D-stash video. I know it's been a bit repetitive now. This month of January is a lot of talking about planning yarn, planning projects, all that kind of things. I feel like I've said the word D-stash like a million times, so sorry about that. But at the beginning of January, I had 164 balls of yarn. I worked through a lot of it. I did end up getting, oh, that's a lie actually. I did buy yarn, but they are to do projects and I don't have any of them in my immediate vicinity, so yeah. Basically, if you watched the video, you knew that there was certain projects that I was gonna allow myself to get yarn for to I don't know, not compensate, but finish a project or to make the project how I wanted. I knew I needed yarn. So I got one fingering weight brown skein from my local yarn store back in Texas. And that's for a later project, but I wanted to get it out of the way in January. And then I got 2 balls of Lion Brand Superwash Merino wool for next month, actually, for the cardigan I want to make. So those were already pre-planned. I knew I needed those to do the project, so I got those. But I don't have either of them with me right now. So anyways, that all being said, I destashed. I didn't even I got rid of some at the very beginning of the month, and then the rest I just used. So I'm now down to 132 balls of yarn. So about 29. Hold on. I went down. Can't even do the math right now. I don't have that brain power, but I went down about 30 balls. So that's very impressive. I don't think the same thing's going to happen next month or every month or at all, but it's good. It's a good start to the year, I should say. Okay, now we are gonna start on our finished projects, and this one's kind of fun just because a lot of things got wrapped up, got redone, all sorts of things. But the first thing I finished on literally January 1st was this sweater, and it's a raglan striped sweater. I'm not gonna put it on right now, I'm so sorry. But I started this actually on Christmas Eve, and I could have easily finished it on the 31st, but I had already filmed my everything I made in 2024, and I wanted this to not be left out of that video, so I waited until after midnight, and I think I finished it at I don't even know, it was either 1 a.m. or 3 a.m. that I finished this sweater, and I love her. I haven't worn it yet just because it's kind of heavy, and then I don't know. I've just been so tired since I got here, but I love her. I think I was also waiting to show this before I wore it, which I weirdly do sometimes, so I don't know. And I finished but I finished a couple accessories because it's freezing. One of them being this boucle multicolored scarf that's kind of hard to see in this lighting. No, you can see. So I had this huge ball of yarn that I got from the thrift store, and I didn't really know what to do with it, but I needed a project to work on in car rides in Texas, and this was kind of the easy, perfect project that I needed, and I love it. It wraps around my neck twice, I think. Yeah. And it's just really quite lovely. I really did not have like any winter accessories and it was getting rough. I had one old scarf that I've been using to death and like I bought a beanie and it's just, yeah, I really needed more accessories and also more that like fit my vibe, and I loved this multicolor. So that was a good one. And this scarf took a lot longer, took a lot more energy, took a lot more brain power. I had to block it because it was a little bit funky at the end. But that is my cabled scarf. It's still a little bit like, it was so much worse though. So I think just with wear, I love this thing so much. It's all these cables, and on the back, like you work double crochet, so the cables are like just on the front. And I'm just so obsessed with the end result. I made it long enough. Okay, here's the other thing is I had a serious dye lot issue that I didn't think would happen and totally did. I don't know if you can see it in this light. Oh, you definitely can. Like, do you see, this is a lot more like yellowy and this is like much more natural. And I thought that this was like the undyed color of Lion Brand woolies. And I thought there's no way the dye lots will be different, but they definitely are. You can kind of see it here. This is like where the switch happened. It's so hard to see, but in real life, I notice it and I'm just hoping no one else does. But I love this scarf. It looks so pretty. Like, are you joking me? And it's a nice neutral color because I know I needed a neutral scarf. I have a neutral hat, but I really much needed a neutral scarf. I really should have made better notes. I know I started this maybe in November. Sometime in late last year, I used almost 5 whole balls of the Lion Brand woolies in the worsted weight, not the thick and quick, the regular woolies, but now they have woolies DK, but the worsted weight one. And I had originally bought 3 and I was like, that should be enough. But these cables really eat up yarn, so I had to get 2 more, hence the dye light problem. But anyways, I really am quite proud of this scarf. I just think it's so pretty. Like, are you joking me? This is so pretty. Now that I think about it, I might have started this in December. Because I remember I was working on it a lot during Vlogmas. And I don't remember. It might have been December. December might have just felt like a really long month. I'm not sure anymore. This project I actually made relatively quickly. And it's these fingerless gloves. And I'll talk more about these in an upcoming video, but I used 2 yarns from Temu actually, and one was a mohair and like a very thin, mohair and like a fingering, almost lightweight, lace weight cashmere blend, and then also a cashmere thread. I'll just show you. So this is, I ordered these and they came together, and it's like this very thin yarn and this thread, and I held these together with this mohair. Whoa. So end result, amazing. It's all like super soft, and it was honestly really great to work on. And I think maybe like over one weekend I made these. I don't really remember, but I've worn them a couple times in the very, very, very cold weather we have, and it's been great. All right, my final finished objects are kind of like a redo, and I'll try to link the video where I talked about these last, but I honestly don't remember what video that is, so it might take me a minute or I might not link it at all. I'm so sorry. But I had a bunch of tiny, not tiny, but like they were smaller than this, hexagons that I was gonna make a blanket out of like a bunch of stash chunky yarn, and then I decided that I hated the small ones and was gonna make bigger ones. So I remade these. These were all like multiple smaller hexagons, and then I made these new. And I like this vibe so much more than the smaller ones, and they just seem a lot better to me. So that's going to be a long-term project that I don't have to finish in my plans until I think April. So yeah, but I did do all that like either the first weekend or one of the first weekends I was here. I was like, oh no, I was in an online class and I realized I hated the small hexagons and was going to redo them all. So that was a fun night. But I like the result now. So that was great to kind of get off my chest. I was kind of stressing about the state of the small ones, and so this is for the better, I think. I have quite a few works in progresses, more than I would like for the 28th of the month. Oh yeah, I'm also filming this on the 28th. You guys will see this on February 1st. But I'm filming this on the 28th because this is when I have free time and we're almost at the end of the month, you know. But I have quite a few whips. Some are looking better than others, but that's fine. I wanted 2 things done by the end of the month, and I'm not sure that either are gonna get done. But the first one is my brown sweater that is in pieces right now, but I'm using Big Twist Prism. Oh my goodness. And I have a back panel and, whoa, a front panel, right? And one completed sleeve. I love this yarn. Oh my God. One completed sleeve, and I just started this morning, actually, the next sleeve. I'll insert a picture actually of the sweater that I'm basing it off of. It's a plain drop shoulder sweater, but I just thought it was super interesting, like that pocket in the front. I was like, oh, like that's kind of funny. Like I'm never going to use a pocket, but I think it would just be fun to add on, and like the ribbing detail at the top of the pocket. Now this is a bit more of a textured pattern yarn than I think that sweater is. I think that sweater is like a little bit fuzzy, but there's not like color differences. It's all green, but I was like, whatever, I'm gonna use this yarn. And I just think it would be fun. So that's the plan for this. I'm using the same pattern I wrote up for my other drop shoulder sweater. If you saw last week's video, it's literally that sweater with some modifications. But yeah, I want to finish that by this weekend, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. I've got kind of a busy couple days, but I'm hoping like in the evenings or maybe at work. I don't know, but I really want to finish it. I'm kind of like, I want the end result, making me annoyed with the process. I don't dislike it at all. I just really want it done already. So the fact that it's not is kind of like weighing on me. And yeah, my second thing that I had in my January plans to finish, which is also looking kind of rough, is a wool vest made out of mostly granny squares. And I just can take these off the blocking mat today, but yeah, these look so nice. For a difference, this is what it looked like before blocking and after blocking. This is another Temu yarn that you'll see more of later, but it's 85% wool and 15% polyester. I think it's wonderful. I also think this granny square is wonderful. I'll link the pattern to the granny square below. But I have 8 of these, and I have 2 more balls plus 2 squares that I'm gonna undo. And I want to make a kind of gappy, just layering vest piece, but I think the wool component and the color lean towards fall more. But also it's going to be cold here for a long time, so I almost feel like it could be like an early spring vibe, especially because it looks kind of almost floral. So I'm excited for that. I don't know if it's going to if that and the sweater are going to be done this weekend, but that was the original plan. So I hope you can't hear, but someone's fire alarm is going off. Of course, when I want to film, but it's fine. Oh, it's literally done. What is going on? Anyways, so yeah, that's the 2 whips that I wanted to have done this month. We'll see on that. But the next one I have is a multicolored multicolored scarf. And I'm using yarn from Shein. I feel like if this is the first video, you're like, wow, girl, that's a lot of like fast fashion yarn. This is not my normal. I'm testing it for a video. Y'all will see soon. This just happens to be what I've been working on. Please don't judge too hard. There'll be a lot of thoughts, opinions in the video. But for now, that's just kind of what you see. But it's this yarn, and I think it didn't say exactly a percentage of wool or what kind of wool. I think the listing just said wool, and it feels to me like wool. So whether it's a wool blend or not, I don't know, but it's definitely giving that vibe. I'm gonna see how it blocks, and I think that'll also be an indicator of like what it's made out of. For a long time now, I have been kind of obsessed with how moss stitched looks, especially with scrappy yarn, because the colors kind of like feed into each other. So I thought this was the perfect yarn and the perfect project to finally, I say learn, but I kind of knew what moss stitch was, I just hadn't done it before, but like do moss stitch, and it looks so cool, if I do say so myself. I held two together because they were quite thin. I think they're like fingering weight slash, so you can see, especially like in rows like this where like one color changed before the other, and then rows like this where they kind of like had a moment that they were together. I just think it's really, really pretty, and it has this like beautiful vibe to it. This is how much, so, oh, also I should say, I was holding a double and I was really unsure of how much yarn that it would take up, so I made it quite short, right? And it only like kind of goes like that, or like I can wrap it around my neck once. It's just like super short, especially for this width, but it's only half the yarn I have because I was, again, scared. So I like this width that I was able to do with two balls, so I'm gonna literally just do the exact same thing again and then sew them together, and then I'll have a scarf double this length, but it'll be like the width I like, and I think that'll just look really cool. This did take me a few weeks, but not a few weeks, like 2 weeks? Like 2 weeks. So hopefully another 2 weeks, the other side will be done. Oh, also I should say, if you are gonna make like a moss stitch scarf, I would make your chain tighter, because the stitch, at least for me, evens out and tightens up a lot, but this first couple rows are like so loose. I'm gonna try to block it out, but I might have to like, I might at the end go through and like just decrease all the way across so that it doesn't look like this, because like starting from literally like here, I think it's like super even and beautiful, but just that first row, and I was kind of, I try not to chain tightly because I usually chain too tight, but for this stitch specifically, it was too loose. And my last work in progress, that is going to be like my year-long, obviously work in progress, is my temperature blanket. Now, I should have an almost done square for January, but I was a bit, I'll say, optimistic, and I did not buy a color for a low temperature of 0 to 9 degrees, and I did need that this month. So I have the first 3 weeks of January, and I really love how it looks so far. So what I'm doing this year is 2 rows of the high and low instead of just the high. So like this first week, the low and the high, and then the next 2 weeks, the low and high were in the same range. So that's why it's double the amount. But then in week number 4, we're in week 5, but in week number 4, we had a low of I think like 3 degrees. And I don't have a color for it. And I don't want to order it online because it's like shipping was like double the price of the yarn, and I just couldn't justify that. So next time I'm near Joann's, I'll run in and get the yarn and finish this January square. But for now, it's just kind of sitting like that. I will start February next week. And like, that's just gonna have to be it. I'm not gonna order it. I'm just not. I've already had coffee, but I feel like I'm talking way too slow. So I'm going to try to speed this up for future plans, because I also don't have too much left. But for my future plans, obviously, is to finish all of my whips. I don't want any of these things going past February, and I don't think they will, but I definitely don't want them to be going past February. And then in February, I want to make a clover beanie. I talked about this I don't want to get too much into future plans because I literally just made a video about all my plans for this year, but clover beanie, in case you didn't see that video, is a beanie pattern that I think just looks really beautiful, and it's a worsted weight yarn held with a mohair. And thanks to the leftover mohair I have from my gloves and this worsted weight yarn I have in stash, this should be enough for a clover beanie, and I'm so excited to make it. Navy blue, it's gonna match this, and it's gonna look great, I think. I really do. So that's really exciting. And then we're having a very navy blue month for February because I'm also making a navy blue cardigan. And that's where that purchase came in. I had to get 2 more of these. So now I have, oh, excuse me. Now I have 7 of these, which should be more than enough to make the Shelly cardigan, I think it's called. And I have cute little buttons that I, once again, am forgetting to show, but they're cute little like flower buttons. So I really want to do that in February. I don't know if it's gonna get done in February. February is a short month, so I don't know. And then I'm kind of like getting into the groove of placements and class and everything, and so there's some very long days, and I have a feeling that that cardigan specifically is going to be one thing that I can't really travel with, and I might have to like check. I don't know how that stitch is worked up, but in my head it looks like something I might have to like pay attention to the pattern for. So if that is the case, I'm going to only be able to work at it at home. I think I might have gone too fast. I don't have anything else crochet related to say. That kind of feels like a very short, I haven't talked very much. So a bit of a shorter podcast, but I thought I had a lot to share, but I think most of it is kind of repetitive. We're kind of at the point of the month where like a podcast almost seems too repetitive, but I wanted to keep to a schedule. And I really like doing these little roundups, especially if you didn't see the first couple videos of the year of mine, because I know a lot of people were doing a lot of the same types of videos, and I ate it up. I watched so many like 2025 plans, but I totally get if like we're over it, that's fair. So I thought I would just include that all in here anyway. But I do have some little updates. If you want to see what I was doing over winter break, I did have a long, kind of chaotic vlog about all of that, so you could definitely watch that. I'm back in school. If you've been watching for a while, there's actually not that many videos of me not in school, but we're back at school. Spring semester is in full swing. I've never had a spring semester where it's snowing and freezing and I want to like be in winter, so it's taking some adjusting, but we'll get there. Yeah, this semester is kind of even crazier than the last, so you'll have to, I don't want to like get ahead of myself and like say I'm not going to be able to upload regularly, but I do expect just obviously being more busy. So if we get to the point where it's a video every other week instead of every week, you'll have to just play along until we get to summertime, and that's just how being a college student is right now. But for reading and watching, I started rewatching Supernatural for the 3rd time in my life, which is a lot, I know, but it's like the least comforting comfort show. Like that show is so kind of dark and crazy sometimes, but I like it. I like the characters, and it's literally like, what, 15 seasons long? So I'm only on season 4, but I am at the point in, this is the what kind of show where I'll skip an episode if I'm bored, and that's fine. For like, I don't do it often, but I'm like, I don't like this one, and I skip it. So that's been great. I am reading a book, but I'll talk more about it when I'm done with the book, just because another thing that's been kind of slow going. Haven't gone very far. It is 9:30 in the morning, and I think I need another coffee. So that's my cue to wrap this up. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting. If you have been just liking and commenting and subscribing, I've been gaining subscribers kind of every upload. I get a few more, and trust me, I see y'all and I love y'all. That is really all I have for you today. This is like my 3rd time trying to film this because I think my brain is literally shutting down. So I will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.